Hi there, and welcome to Conversations with Mike, short webettes providing insight and key information on frequently asked questions about test connectors. Your expert advisor for this series is Mike Eady, our senior urethane connector specialist at ATS Test Systems. Mike, the question for today is about the difference between product connectors and test connectors. What exactly is the functional difference?
Thanks, James. Well, functional difference. Now, functional here being the key word. First of all, a product connector is not meant to function as a test connector. A product connector is really meant to be plugged into its place of use and be left there for the lifetime of its use. So again, the key word being function, they're just not meant to function as a test connector. A test connector, on the other hand, is meant to function as a test connector. This is what they're designed and built to do. Now, if you look at these two photographs we have here, you can tell just by looking at it that one looks a little cumbersome and a little difficult to use. It doesn't look like it was meant to function as a test connector to be repeatably used. You look at the one on the right, you're able to hold on to it comfortably. It just looks more comfortable to hold on to. You can see that it's got where the thumb is a latch and everything else. This product is designed to do a specific purpose, and that is work as a test connector. So we'll go into a little more detail as to the functional comparisons that I was just talking about. Right off the bat, like I said, the product connector is designed to be inserted once. The manufacturers of these connectors will typically rate them for 4 insertions. Therefore, you see on the chart that the product connector is rated for 4 insertions, and this is the factory rating of this connector. Now, urethane test connector, we have rated those based on 100,000 plus insertions. Now, this 100,000 is limited by the components we used and the supplier's ratings on those components, whereas our final product we know can be pushed well beyond the 100,000 mark. Now we get into violating and damaging of your product. Now, with the product connector, again, you're going in, you're using it what it's meant to do, to insert and to be left there forever. What you're doing using it as a test connector is you're violating your product that you're trying to produce. Every time you're going in, you're making those contacts with the mating product that you're trying to produce, and now you're being responsible to give that product to your customer and guarantee its functionality 100%, which you cannot do with a product connector because you don't know if it's causing damage to your product. Now, with a urethane test connector, we're going in and we're making this test and we're leaving your product essentially unviolated. We design into our test connectors the purpose to go in and make this test without actually being connected as it would be in the real world. Now, as far as repairs and maintenance, a product connector typically, and then this comes back from our customers who have used these in the past, will typically last you about a week before it requires repairs. Now, you'll notice I put repairs and maintenance. The difference between a product connector and a test connector is the test connector typically does not need repairs on short frequencies. Typically, it needs a little bit of maintenance, which in most cases can be done while the product is being used. In other words, on the line, this maintenance is just simply checking to make sure everything's functioning properly, and the consumable parts we use in our designs are designed in such a way that they can be changed out on the fly while being used. Again, this typical connector maintenance is typically suggested on a monthly basis, and in a lot of cases is not even required. Now, if we get into the actual time the time required to do these repairs, again, occasionally you will get a repair required on a urethane test connector after months and months of use, in which cases it's usually able to be done on the line. Product connector cannot be done on the line, has to be pulled off the line, pulled out of circulation, and replaced with another one. Therefore, you're required to keep a lot more in stock as well too. If you get to a point where you can no longer repair the urethane test connector, we have a service available at ATS where the connectors can be sent back, and we will service those connectors typically within a 24-hour period. We can respond on those services. Again, you do not get that with your product connectors. Typically, it's a throwaway product, and you'll be replacing them on a very frequent basis.
So obviously there's a real advantage to these test connectors, which are really for testing purposes, as the product connectors are really not intended for testing purposes in terms of their application.
Correct.
Great. Well, thanks on that particular one, Mike. We're in a series right now of commentaries regarding the differences between test connectors and product connectors. This is one of the three. If you'd like to connect with others in the test community, by the way, Mike is now leading a group on LinkedIn. The group's name is Automated Test Systems, and you can join Mike and others to share your thoughts and suggestions and get advice as well. Again, that LinkedIn group is Automated Test Systems. So thanks again for joining us. This WebEd is one in a series that's providing you with solutions to meet all of your testing needs, and you can go to Mike's website and you can get a list of all of his webnets that he's produced.